Yes! When I built this jump line, I scouted out multiple options down the mountain, and I chose to keep it more of a consistent jump line the whole way down. But there was one alternate line that I really wanted to build, and it's a tight, steep S-turn line. And I decided I'm going to put that alternate line in, and I'm going to make it more of a loamer than I was planning on going to. So you'll come down here to this left-hand bank transition, pop out here, this small gap into this right-hand tight turn. And instead of continuing on, we're going to pop right out at the apex and continue down the steep face of this mountain. So I'm going to try to show you what it looks like, but it probably won't look like much on the camera. So starting out here, we're going to have some kind of two gentle turns, a left into a right. And this isn't steep yet. I've already macheted my way through here. Cut through these logs. This right is going to exit out here into a sharp, bold left loamer, immediately into a right. And this is, I'm pretty much falling down the hill because it's so steep. Into a left, and then into a right through these trees I'm going to have to chop through. And then we're going to traverse over here. So only really going to be 4 of these steep turns. But I think it'll be pretty fun, and what really makes it worth it is where it's going to connect into, which I'll show you here. So I'm going to have a step down here into a left hip. Landing will be right past this log here. So left bank landing into a right bank transition, and then roll into a sharp left hand turn, and then we're right at the horseshoe, parallel with that, and we will pop into what is currently the landing of this hip, and then you'll be able to likely hit that 4-pack, the long and low, into the step up without doing any pedals, which you currently through this line you do have to pedal. I think also removing this hip will remove the need to pedal. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, gonna drop in for a quick test ride. So now I've got 3 turns on the steep face. So I'll see how those are feeling, see if there's anything I need to change. It's still real soft because it hasn't rained since I've started building the trail. It's gonna be a little slower and loamier than the final product will be. But we'll just roll in and see how it's feeling. Oh! Okay, I almost stuffed the front. That is really soft. Let's try that again. Tamped everything down with my feet a little bit, but it's just so ultra fluffy that I'm gonna have to be careful and go pretty slow. Oh, yes. Oh, oh my God. Yeah, I just slowed down a lot right here. The only thing I might do is kind of lower this a little bit because it kind of extends out flat a little bit far, and it might work better if it kind of twists into the bank earlier and steeper. Whew. Woo! Okay. Yeah, this one does feel tight right now. It is tough because this was like the most off-camber part. I would have preferred to just make this more of a more of rut turns, but these two ended up being a little off-camber. This one's the most, so I had to use logs and build it up. So steepen the entrance up. Should be good. I called in some help to get this tree cut yesterday. So now I'm going to cut that old, mostly rotten tree and some of these limbs up here and push this down. Hopefully this will end up in a perfect space to support as a retaining wall for the next turn exit. So I'll get the chainsaw up here and cut some of that and push this down. Might cut this in two also. That'll probably be smarter. All right. So I'm going to change this turn up here, the third turn down on the steep face. It's just too much of a wall, and I already started on it when it was raining the other day. I didn't film, but I only spent like 30 minutes out here pulling the logs out, moving them back, cutting up some more logs to build up more of a retaining wall. Push these logs back and just make it a little bit more of a almost a 180. I figure I'm going to change the, maybe not this turn too much. This one's pretty good. But the next one up, that's when I was sort of still wishy-washy in between having these be more of rut turns, but it's turned out that these bottom turns are going to need to be so bowled out that I think I'm going to change this rut style turn into more of a legit turn. See, this one's kind of like hitting a little rut wall too, which isn't as big of a deal as that one because this one you're going a little slower into for now because it's so soft. So the whole thing will be kind of recessed, bowled out S-turns. It's so short, it shouldn't take too long to do this. I was kind of hoping to just kind of bang it out and move on, but might as well do it the right way, and it'll be more fun that way anyways. So I'll continue fixing this berm up and get into the time lapse. All right, I got these berms looking pretty good. These are nice and deep and steep, going in pretty nicely. There's kind of giant boulders the further down I go, so I can't quite dig this one down or that one down enough. Again, there's a big one right here that I kept poking out like a few feet around it, and I just kept going, so that's one I definitely can't move. I'm going to build this one up. Kind of a tough spot for dirt, so I guess I'm going to try and get in here. Hopefully there's not too many roots. I can just build this up another like 6 inches or so, but nice and square on top so it's durable and won't push through if you rail, you know, a couple inches from the top. So I'll get started clearing and adding some to this, and I did just ride through a couple times very slowly. Feels pretty good, and so after I get this one built up, I'll take a couple quicker laps through and see how it feels. Okay, I'm just gonna roll in from here because my battery's about to die. See if I can get a quick little run in. Whoa! Oh! Yes! That felt sick. And I'm still kind of dragging brake and not really committing because I'm not super confident in where it's soft or not yet. But that felt really good as a first run, kind of letting off the brakes a little more. I think now I'm clearly going to have to push the end of that berm out, and all those logs that I'm using as retaining walls, push that out more. because that berm's gonna need to be a little bit bigger radius. But it's feeling really good. This is the feeling I was looking for. All right, it's getting dark. Battery's dying. I'll be back to continue on from here. Alright, I got this berm done. Turned out to be quite a bit bigger than I originally planned, but it should be fun. A little bit past 180 and gets real steep here at the apex. I'm going to do another S-turn on this level traverse here. But before I do that, I feel like a couple of the upper berms here, the entrances need to be steeper. Try to bang that out before it gets dark. Alright, well this turned into a cool roller berm wave thing. Maybe you could call it a berm roller. But after this, we're going to go into another turn. And I originally wanted this to be kind of just like a wall that you slam into. And you just skid through the loamy organic top layer into it to kill your speed enough to set up for the drop into the jump trail. But I kind of wasn't paying attention. I really piled it up too low. It would make a really awkward turn here to get lined up straight. See the berm landing of the hip there from the jump trail. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change this. I'm gonna have to push this up so you can kind of just roll around here and get nice and set up. We'll get on that and then it'll be good to go. It's been over 2 weeks of rain, snow, and rain constantly, as you can see by my beard growth. But we're back out now. It's nice and sunny, and this looks really cool. I didn't really have something like this in mind when I started building this, but it came out really neat, and it slows you down nicely after you're ripping around this big, huge berm that I didn't really think would be that big in the beginning either. But ended up going kind of overboard, but it's really cool. Just kind of slows you down, feels like you're carving a cool wave, and then you hit this little right-hander rut berm, slows you down even more over this root, and then you get set up and lined up for re-entering the jump trail. So this is the horseshoe, the old way, big huge left-hand shark fin into this right-hand horseshoe, which is kind of overtaken by moss and also the deer constantly running up on it, chipping away at it. So I got to do a little work on that. But now we're going to go down here into what is this landing after this right hand hip that never worked well. Pump as hard as you can coming out of the setup, pretty much case every time, and then you're not really lined up for the turn really well to carry speed into the double afterwards. So you have to take a couple hard cranks into it after that. So I want to knock that lip down, knock most of the landing down, leaving maybe a roller there, and I push all that dirt down and build up the last third of the berm real high so it's nice and safe. Rip around it, carry all your speed, and hit the next sets of jumps without pedaling, most likely. So we'll get into knocking this hip down, which is going to be pretty time consuming. It's not huge, but it's not small. It's a substantial amount of dirt. All right, so we'll get started. The lower third of the berm done, this steep ass berm, and had to build steps into it to walk down it safely. Anyway, it looks pretty good. Got it nice and tall and steep. And now I just have the middle and the entry to build up. I started piling some stuff, rocks and stuff that I find in the middle. I'm going to build it up a little bit higher. But mostly what I have to do now is continue the same angle, which means building up the top steeper and then cutting in some as I get higher. And then I've still got a ton of dirt here. So I'm just going to make this base of this lip, leave that there and make that a big roller into the berm. So I've got plenty of dirt left, most of which I'm going to use to build up the entrance of the berm so you can get your lean started right away and just rip around it. All right, finished up, and it's perfect timing. It's going to rain tomorrow, so I'll let this get a nice soak and then come back and give it another once over with the packing. And I got a nice roll in for the berm line. Just a little subtle bank, but it makes diving into the middle of the berm a lot more natural and easy. Kind of roll it flat and then it cambers in. So I'm excited to try this. I'm excited to try both lanes. I ended up leaving a lot more dirt here than I was planning to, converting the hip into the roller. I left it a lot higher, so we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it'll be too peaky. I filled in the transition to make it mellower, so I think you'll be able to get just a nice either deceleration or acceleration pump into the berm. So yeah, we'll let it rain tomorrow and then come back and give it a pack and a test ride. All right, had a full day of steady rain, and I just came up and did a once over on the first third of the berm, packed it in a bit more, and it's looking pretty solid. Might be a little bit soft for the main line direction here, but the roll in for the new berm line should be fine. So I'm going to test that today. And I forgot the wind cover for my camera, so I'm going to come back tomorrow, do tests of the whole run, and then maybe the entire jump line and do both lines. And I also want to make a couple of adjustments on the first couple turns anyways, so I'll come back tomorrow and do all that. But right now I'm going to try just this entry line into the long and low into the double. This is going to be more than enough speed if I went in no brakes through this, but I don't know, I'll see how it feels. I think I'll want to brake a little bit, but hopefully I built the berm secure feeling enough that I can just float right over the 18-footer. All right, let's try it out. I might not hit the jump. I might have to see how the berm feels, and then if I do, I might stop before the step up. I might just hit the long and low and then stop, but we'll see how it feels. Let's go. Yes! Oh, forgot to take the tarp off. Whew. All right. That was absolutely perfect. I just ended up going all the way down. Sick. I didn't think I would be going all the way to the bottom, so I left the tarp on that lip. That was absolutely perfect. I even went just a tiny bit slow. I had to really lean back and pump the step up to get over it. So when it's fully packed in and dried, it should be the absolute perfect speed, starting from where you pop over the root and pause to drop in. That's awesome. Wow, that works really well. And the main line where the hip used to be, I don't know if it's going to give me full speed without pedaling to get over this. Because before with the hip, I had to throw in two pretty hard pedals down here in the flat. I grew up BMX racing, so I kind of like cranking out a jump. I like how aggressive it feels. But I didn't design this line for that. I designed it to just be no pedal. So I'd like to fulfill my original intent and see if I can get around here and hit it with no pedaling and through the main line. So a little banked roll in works perfectly. I went kind of like high and low middle and then exited high. I wasn't consciously trying to do that, but I think I was staying away from the new stuff on the top that isn't as set in yet. So an optimal line would be kind of like high middle and then exit middle. So when it's all set and hardened, should be plenty of speed, not just to clear it, but to like pull back on the step up and really blast. Yeah, see, getting into some of this new stuff on the exit, it's a little soft still. All right, I'll come back tomorrow and do some tuning on the upper two berms and then some full runs. with the wind cover on the camera so it doesn't sound terrible. So this has had a couple days to dry out. It's been 70 degrees and it's still not totally dry and hard, but I'm just so curious to find out how much speed I'm going to get over this now. I think it'll be enough to clear the long and low without pedaling, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm just going to test this first and then test the new berms into the alt line entrance. So I'm just going to push up here. I'm not going to ride the whole line first because the whole jump line is a half a mile long and it is very tiring by the time you get here. So I just roll in from right here and this will basically give me about the same speed I'd get coming out of the horseshoe and landing in the middle. All right, let's see what happens. Whoa! All right, I'm gonna have to get used to that. I might need to make it steeper. It's also possible this is still too lippy because I definitely unweighted over the peak here and set down right there. But we'll see. I'll try to get more. I'll try to enter higher. Yeah, cased. Yeah, I think I need to make the berm a little steeper so I can initiate leaning earlier and mellow out the roller some more. The roller doesn't even really need to be there. So yeah, I was trying to save myself some work because it's getting to be the end of the rainy season soon and I wanted to start another or continue another project I started at the end of last rainy season. I don't know, maybe it's just getting used to it. If I have to mellow this out, it's not a big deal. It'll just take a couple hours really. But I'm gonna try it again. See if I can really pump it. Yep. All right. It does work, but I don't want to have to try that hard every time, so I'm gonna mellow out the roller. All right, let's do a run on the alternate turn line. All right, I'm just gonna stop after the step up again and then push up and do a full run through the alternate line and then mellow out the roller on the main line, which is right here, and ride that one tomorrow. Oh, it's so fun. Get set up and drop in. Yes! That feels amazing. That is so easy, so much speed. All right, let's go to the top. All right, at the top, see if I can make it down before the battery dies. Yep. And hit the left lip, steeper. Woo! Yeah, it's fine. Brake here. Brake a little here. Whoa! And brake into here. And into the new line. Yes. Oh. Yeah. Whew. Oh. Oh. Yes, that was amazing. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Mellow out the roller on the main line and ride that. All right, it's the next day. I got this roller more mellowed out and steepened up the entryway in to the berm a little bit. Let's give it a try. It's easier. I think that's going to be good when it's all firmed up. I'll give it another go. I'll try to enter the berm higher. Yeah, sick. I didn't have to pump that hard to get over that time. So when it firms up, it'll be perfect. It's been a couple days. It didn't rain enough to do that cementing action to the dirt, but it has dried out a little bit, so it should be running a little bit faster. As expected, the deer had a nice little rampage, like they always do. So I'm gonna patch that up real quick and go up to the top and do a mainline run and see how it feels by the time I get down here. Woo! Yeah. Feather the brake a little. Oh, I still had to brake. Oh, all right. That wasn't easy, but I did it. Oh, I forgot to put the tarp back on to go eat lunch. I can still feel the remade berm soft and kind of like giving way as I really lean into it. So I had to pump hard to get over the step up, but it's a fairly smooth jump line. So 170 travel bike is not the most appropriate for it, and I can make it over, so it should be good to go. I'm gonna call that good. It needs to get another good rain on it, and then kind of a final pack down, and it'll be perfect. So that's it. Got a new alternate line, the turn line, and then made the main line no pedals, and it feels amazing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.